The 0-1 Seattle Seahawks and their quarterback, Sam Darnold, hit the road to take on Aaron Rodgers and the 1-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. This is going to be a fierce matchup. These are two teams that play good defense, sound fundamentals, and the quarterback play obviously seems to be pretty good. We can expect that Sam Darnold is going to improve off of what he was last week. Now, 16 of 23, 150 yards is not terrible, but there wasn't a whole lot of aggressive nature in what we saw last year. He's got the weapons, obviously, Smith and Jigba for 124, but finding production elsewhere. Also, the run game for Seattle, 26 carries for 84 yards. They clearly struggled to run the football because the Niners were creeping up. They were able to load the box and did not respect that Seattle was going to take their opportunities and take their shots. On the other side of things for Pittsburgh, how can you start off with anything else besides Aaron Rodgers? Debut as a Pittsburgh Steeler in that pairing with Mike Tomlin. He throws 4 touchdowns, has 136.7 QB rating. He has a completion percentage over 70, 22 out of 30. You cannot ask for a better game ever. Like, you can do that every single time. That's incredible. 240 yards on the day. Aaron Rodgers not really showing off any mobility. It's clearly, it's obvious that he's not very mobile, can't move around all that well. But what he can do is navigate the pocket just enough. I mean, he got sacked 4 times in this day, but still was so efficient with the ball in his hands. The ball was coming out on time to the right spots, even against a Jets pass rush and a defense that was able to sack him 4 times, had 7 tackles for loss. They were not able to get to Rodgers enough in the important moments. There were, I believe, 2 drives where Rodgers got sacked, and they were still able to get first downs on those 2 possessions. Now, Pittsburgh was susceptible to the quarterback run. Good thing that they're not going up against a quarterback that really runs the football all that much. But what they did not do well was stop the run as a whole. They gave up 182 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. 2 of those rushing touchdowns were Justin Fields' legs. For Seattle, they need to run the football better. We saw Jalen Milroe get in there. If Jalen Milroe were the starting quarterback, to be honest, I might be a little bit more wary, a little bit more scared of what Seattle can do, because they could replicate some of the success and obvious nature that Justin Fields brought, that he was maybe the best athlete on the field a couple of those plays and had that great connection with Garrett Wilson. For Seattle going into this game, obviously it will be important for Pittsburgh to take away Smith and Jigba. Like, make Cooper Kupp beat you. Make someone else beat you, but Jackson Smith and Jigba cannot be beating you. He's beaten way too many teams before. He had Seattle in position to almost be a playoff team last year. Cannot allow that to happen. I again think that Seattle needs to give Jalen Milroe a couple more touches, allow him to be aggressive, get the ball in his hands, touch the ball 3-4 times. It doesn't need to be 10 times, but show the Steelers that you're able to pull something out of your hat that will be a little bit similar to obviously what was successful against Pittsburgh a week ago. Now let's talk about that Pittsburgh run game, because it's important to stress on this, that they didn't run the football all that well. It came down to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers marched that whole drive down the field to get them in position. And then Chris Boswell nails a 60-yard field goal that looked like it would have been good from maybe 70, 71 yards. Caleb Johnson, he got the ball once, gave the kid, that's your rookie. You took in the 3rd round 1 carry for -2 yards and give him the ball again. Jalen Warren, 11 carries for 37. Obviously, that's not working. Gainwell, 7 carries for 19 yards. Give Kalen Johnson, your return man, a couple of more touches. I thought that was obvious. Like, Caleb Johnson, why are you using a 3rd rounder if you're not going to use the guy? If he's not that ready, okay, that's something we can understand, have a conversation about. But get the younger kid more touches. You're 1-0 in this game. It's out of conference. A loss would not be terrible, but I want to see you commit. Show that this 3rd round player can play. Taking a running back these days, a running back in the 3rd round is a high draft pick selection of what you are taking. Now, as far as the spread in this game, Pittsburgh is a 2.5-point favorite. I obviously think that that's a very good number. 41.5, they're leaning towards defense. On my side of things, I think that these defenses are good, but the points will come a little bit more than that. I believe that one team wins this game by a score of 24-21, and it comes down to a field goal. What team wins that game? You're going to have to watch the rest of this video to find out. Don't skip ahead. Don't cheat. Don't skip ahead to the end of this. We got more to talk about. Now, the passing attack for Seattle, right? It looked a little bit broken at times. Sam Darnold might have been thinking, oh, we've got Jefferson and Addison out there. Now, Cooper Kupp maybe at one point in his time had that elite type of level. It's clear that maybe he's lost a bit of a half step. Still one of the best blockers in football. When I saw or met Sam Darnold out in Laguna Beach over the summer, asked him a couple questions about the offense and what it would look like. He said a lot of really good things about Jackson Smith-Njigba, and he hadn't even spent all that much time with Cooper Kupp. So it's clear and obvious already that connection with Cooper Kupp and the chemistry between them is nowhere near what it is with Smith-Njigba, and that is a little bit of a concern for me. Even in that conversation, who knows, Cooper Kupp could wind up going for 100 yards in this game, but from that conversation of what I felt, it almost seemed like, okay, like maybe Cooper Kupp is not going to be a guy that's getting more than 5-6 targets in many games and being a factor the way he was a focal point of that Los Angeles Rams offense. Now, I have to share that last week was just crazy seeing these Ohio State Buckeye wide receivers go off everywhere. We saw Wilson score a touchdown against Pittsburgh. We saw Smith-Njigba for Seattle score a touchdown. We also saw Abuka, Marvin Harrison Jr. score touchdowns. It was absurd watching this. DK Metcalf for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He needs to have a big impact in this game. Aaron Rodgers needs to get him the football a lot. He had 80 yards. Sauce Gardner had a large factor. He had a big role in him being only limited to 83 yards. He got 7 targets, which is enough. But I see him going over 100 in this game. If there's an over-under, I don't know what it is right now for DK. As of recording this, it is definitely due to fluctuate, but I'd attack that. DK Metcalf, I'm expecting to have a very good game. Now, Riq Woolen for Seattle. There's Devin Witherspoon. Obviously, Nick Emenwari. None of these guys had crazy games in their first performance of this season. Nothing really stood out all that much. You know, Witherspoon had 7 solo tackles, a tackle for loss on the day. Emenwari had a tackle for loss, had 1 tackle on the day. I'm expecting a little bit more from them, but DK Metcalf is a physical element that presents just such a challenge. I am fascinated to see at some point Emenwari and Metcalf just running down the field together because these are 2 of the more athletic players in the league. Emenwari 6'3", 200 in the high 20 pounds, 227, 228. Running down with DK about the same size. Just seeing these guys collide maybe at some point. Maybe some jarring going at it. We know DK's had that a lot. Him and Garrett Wilson had a little bit of that in this game. I'm sorry. It was DK Metcalf and Sauce Gardner were jarring a little bit throughout it. It was Jalen Ramsey and Garrett Wilson that were going at it. So Jalen Ramsey for Pittsburgh will have the opportunity to stop Seattle and really have a chance to attack that offensive side of the ball. Where my early lean is so far in this game is I think the Seattle Seahawks are able to pull it out, that they're able to get the ball to Charbonnet and establish the run early, get the ball to Walker, like run the football well on Pittsburgh. We saw the Jets do that well. So I think that they win this game by a score of 24-21, pull it out against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm curious what you think about that in the comments. Let me know down below whether you agree with that prediction, disagree with it, who you think is going to win this game. Very excited because Seattle obviously needs to come out with a high level of intensity. Can't be dropping to 0-2. That's important. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're at home, obviously off a big conference win, a lot of juice flowing. What does Aaron Rodgers look like? How is he able to respond? There's nobody on this team that was there when he lost in the NFC Championship game. A lot of these guys were maybe in middle school still. But going up against a team in Seattle that broke his heart a long time ago, does he have some revenge? Come out there and have a great performance. I know he had revenge on them, beat him in the playoffs a couple of years after that game at Lambeau, a dominant win by Green Bay over Russ and Seattle. But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers up against the Seahawks, probably for the last time. Let's enjoy it. This farewell tour for Aaron got off to an incredible start. Sam Darnold, can he regain some of that Cinderella-esque from what he had in 2024, recapture some of that? Lots of stars in this game, a lot of star power. We'll craft the story after this one, but let's all enjoy. So please subscribe for more content in the future. Let me know down below what you think, and I will see you next time. Thank you.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blunder. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blunder.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.